What's up, YouTube? It's Michael from FullCourtPress. Today is February 19th, 2021. We have a 9-game slate in the NBA. I planned on going live today, but when I went to go live, I seen that YouTube got to finish monetizing my profile or something like that. They got to finish some type of thing on their end to where they could approve me to go live every day. So once I get approved, it said it should take 24 hours. Once I get approved, I will be going live every single day. But until then, we got to put out these videos, man. So let's get going. Today, we got a 9-game slate. Our first game here today that I'm seeing is Golden State Warriors versus Orlando Magic. They got the Warriors -4. And the over-under is 224.5. Just looking at this game out the gate, I know the Warriors just got done playing. They just played the Miami Heat 2 days ago and took them to overtime, beat the Miami Heat by 8 points, outscored them in the third quarter, outscored them in the fourth quarter. And they were able to come back without Draymond Green. They were able to come back. They were able to win in overtime. And I know Kent Bazemore was a big part of that. He was the leading scorer for the Golden State Warriors. Kent Bazemore had 28 that night, along with Curry having 25. They were just going crazy. Kent Bazemore was on the boards. Anytime this guy gets more minutes, it seems like he does something with it, no matter what team he's on. He's been on a lot of teams recently, but found his way back to the Warriors, and this guy's really stepped up when Draymond Green is out the game. On the other side, Orlando, I know they just had a game yesterday or the day before and ended up getting Fournier back. They ended up getting they played against the New York Knicks. And they ended up getting Fournier back. They ended up getting, I think today they're getting Ennis back. And one more person. Who did they get back? Let me see. All right, so the Orlando Magic are fairly healthy, actually, which they haven't been the last couple weeks. Cole Anthony's still out. Aaron Gordon's still out. Markelle Fultz still out. James Ennis is looking like he's going to make a comeback today. Said on Thursday that he expects him to be available for Friday's game against the Warriors. So, yeah, James Ennis is expected to be back. They did take a big hit, losing Cole Anthony, Aaron Gordon, and Markelle Fultz. But they do still have Terrence Ross. They have Evan Fournier. They're going to be getting James Ennis back, Nikola Vucevic. I just think in this game here, the Warriors are favored by 4 on the road against Orlando Magic. I don't think Vegas caught up with this line yet. I don't think they really took into account that, Orlando's going to be getting a lot of players back. They're at home. They have Vucevic. When Golden State Warriors don't have a center right now. Not one. We're running Juan Toscano Anderson and Draymond Green when he's healthy. So I just think Vucevic is going to be too overwhelming in this game. I think that 224.5 total is pretty low. So my pick here would have to be Orlando Magic plus the 4 points over the 224.5. This second game here, we have Chicago versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia is favored by 9 points at home. This season, the 76ers just been incredible at home. Just incredible. And this Chicago team, they've won a couple games by like 1 or 2 possessions or in overtime recently, but those are against teams that are really not in the top, 5, top 6 like this Philadelphia team. And with everybody healthy here against Chicago, Philadelphia at home, that 9 points, that's almost too much for me to lay. So I think what I'll do here is take Philadelphia money line. And then the total is at 230.5. So 230.5. In today's NBA, Chicago shoots a lot of threes. Philadelphia shoots a lot of threes. As long as their guys are hitting, this could be an up and down, really, really up-tempo game, up and down the court. A lot of three-pointers, a lot of fast break. Ben Simmons leads the league in fast break points. I could see this going over the 230 total. So I think my pick here, I couldn't take the points with Philadelphia. That -9 is too much. But what I can take is the 76ers just to win the game, and then the over 230.5 if I had to take an over-under in that one. Get into this third game here. We have Atlanta versus Boston. These two teams played the other night without Kemba Walker, without Daniel Tice on the Celtics side. And the Celtics got down by like 8 or 9 points. And going into the fourth quarter, it was just really hard for them to come back. And they just weren't able to. Atlanta won that game. But in this game here, Boston's at home again in a back-to-back. Boston's favored by 4.5 points, so they have to win by 5. And then the over-under here is 226. I think here the reason that Boston's favored at home, the Celtics are favored at home even though they lost, is because this year with COVID, a lot of the things that you're seeing is like this team will play on Friday and then they'll have Saturday off, but then they'll play again on Sunday. So these teams play each other like it's a rivalry, real rivalry back to back, depending on which teams are playing what. But the Atlanta Hawks and the Boston Celtics always really had it out for each other, both being on the East Coast, both running into each other a lot during the season, a lot more than you do outer conference teams. But there's a trend in the NBA this year that whatever team wins the first game, a lot of bettors tend to bet on the other team. So Atlanta and Boston, Atlanta won that first meeting 2 days ago. But the trend has been for a lot of the sharps and a lot of the people that have, like, they make the $100,000 bets and $125,000 just on one game. Those type of guys are betting on Boston because in these back-to-backs, historically this season, it's shown that whatever team wins the first game gets blown out. You know what I mean? The very next game, like 2 days later, they get blown out the water. So I think this -4.5, the favor on Boston, is just coming in. The only reason that number's like that is because the sharps and the people with all the big money that are betting have moved the line that way. Everybody's betting Boston's way. So now they're a favorite. Now they're at home. I read something yesterday that said that Jaylen Brown was experiencing problems with his knee, and Jason Tatum just hasn't been showing me, as of late. He just did a interview and he was saying like he has shortness of breath and he's going through all these different things that he's never experienced in his life as a player, and that's after returning from COVID. So with him saying that, with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, with Jaylen Brown's knee not being 100%, with Jason Tatum not being 100%, Kemba Walker not being 100%, I really, really want Boston to win here, but I put Boston on a no-bet list for now, just because, I've went 3 or 4 games in a row with them just not winning, killing parlays or just killing my single bets, and it's just, so I got a little no-bet list going right now, teams that I wouldn't bet on. The Bucks, Boston's one of them. So here, if I'm not going to take this game at all today, but if I had to take something, I'd probably take Atlanta plus 4.5 here in the over 226. Both of these teams could score the ball pretty easily, even their backups. So I'd take Atlanta here plus the 4.5 over 226. And that takes us to our next game. We have Detroit versus Memphis. Here you see Memphis -5 against Detroit. And the over-under is 222. Just looking at this game, it stinks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it one bit. I don't even want to dive too deep into this game. I'm going to just say it's a coin flip. And what do I tell you guys? I'm not into the business of betting coin flips. It's just not profitable. It's not smart, But if I had to take a lean here, just a lean, I would go Memphis minus the 5 points in the over 222. That's just an ugly game. It stinks a little bit. It's cool. I don't really want to bet it. The next game here, we have Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are laying 10.5 points at home, and the over-under is 232.5. Milwaukee stinks. The Bucks stink, right? And you've seen in my last, I've been doing this for 2 or 3 days now. My last 2 or 3 videos, I picked the Bucks, right? They went against the Raptors. They should have won both matchups. They stink. I don't know what the problem is right now. Middleton's not doing anything. He stinks. Giannis is barely able to do what he wants to do, which is funny because typically he's able to do whatever he wants to do on the court. It's just you have to stop his surrounding cast. If you can stop Middleton and all the shooters, then you're good. he's not performing well. Um, he's breaking down, crying after games, after losses. This team is just distraught. Without Drew Holiday, this team is just doing bad. Not much to talk about here. Like I said, Milwaukee Bucks for me is on a no bet list right now. I'm not taking them. I don't give a damn who they play. But on the other side here, we got Oklahoma City Thunder. So they got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander back. But Horford went out in the process. So they lost Horford, got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander back. Um, this is just an ugly game. Ugly, ugly, ugly game. If I had to take a bet here, Milwaukee stinks. I'd take Oklahoma City plus 10.5. In the over 232.5. Both of these teams stink. Um, that's just a game that I would stay away from today. If you're planning on betting, just stay away. It's safer. Now we're looking at the next game here. We have the Phoenix Suns versus the New Orleans Pelicans. The Phoenix Suns are on the road going to New Orleans, but they're still favored by 2 points. And the over-under here is 229.5. So Phoenix Suns have been on a roll. They've been hot. And just like the Jazz, I tell you guys, ride the hot hand, right? Ride the hot hand. They're covering their spreads. Just ride the hot hand. Now, on the other side of this ball is the New Orleans Pelicans, right? They're at home here, but the New Orleans Pelicans are becoming one of those teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and like the Boston Celtics, where I was real high on them. They should be winning. They should be covering spreads. They're just not doing it. So here, just automatically, both of the teams are fairly healthy. New Orleans dropped a couple, like 3 out of 4 of their last games. Phoenix is on a roll. They're hot. I'm taking Phoenix here on the road, minus the 2 points, in the under 229. The under, both of these teams play good defense. New Orleans is without Steven Adams. I just think there's not enough scoring and there's just enough defense in this game to hit the under 229. So I'm going to take Phoenix Suns minus 2 under the 229 on the road. This next game, let me see, we got 3 more games left. This next game here, we got Toronto versus Minnesota. Toronto coming off 2 wins against the Bucks. There's going to be a back-to-back for them. They're on the road. They're going to Minnesota. Let's see. Toronto's minus 3.5 on the road going to Minnesota. I understand this line. I know why it's minus 3.5. They just beat the Bucks twice. They're on a roll. They're on fire. They got to be doing something good, obviously. This is going to be a tough one, man. So Minnesota's without D'Angelo Russell. No D'Angelo Russell for Minnesota or Jarrett Culver, the backup point guard, starting shooting guard. I think Culver started a little bit, but I think he's more of a backup. Right now, all they got really running out there is Anthony Edwards, which this boy been going crazy. Anthony Edwards is a walking bucket. He's banging on people. I know y'all seen the highlight like last night or 2 nights ago. This boy coming to the rim. Yuck nasty, just banging on shit like this. Nigga. But they got Anthony Edwards, Michael Beasley. They got Karl Anthony Towns back. All these guys been performing well. It hasn't really translated into a bunch of wins, but they have been sticking with teams, and they're being disrespected in a lot of spots where they're like +7, +10, and they're covering those spreads. They're only losing by 4, losing by 3. So they're covering spreads. They're just not winning games. So you got to find them at a good number right here. They'd only be +3.5. That's not good enough for me, personally, against this Raptors team. So for this game, I'd have to take Toronto Raptors minus the 3.5 against the Timberwolves in the under 232. I think there's just enough defense in this game, or maybe not enough offense in this game to keep it under that 232. That's a high total. That's one of the highest totals on the slate tonight, besides the Milwaukee and Oklahoma City at the game. The second to last game here, we got the blazing hot Utah Jazz versus the Los Angeles Clippers. We had this game 2 nights ago. I told you guys, bet the Jazz, bet the Jazz, bet the Jazz, bet the over, bet the Jazz. What happened? The Jazz win by 20 points. They only needed to win by 4. They win by 20 points, and they beat the over by 15 points. Easy. 2 easy bets. Lock them in. What did I say the other day? Lock them in, set them, wait for them, cash your money out, have a good night. Utah Jazz. Whenever they come up, it's just a bonus that they're playing against the Clippers again. The other night when they played against the Clippers kind of stuck in it until the third quarter, where they got their doors blown off in the third quarter. But they didn't have Kawhi and they didn't have Paul George. This team plays really good without their stars. Um, this is one of those teams that, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, when they don't have their Shea Gilgeous or when they don't have their Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, um, they got Pat Beverly, they got Lou Will, they got one of the Morris twins, they got Zubac. Um, they got bodies over there, man, and these guys are people that come off the bench and they play hard and they play with reckless abandonment. These guys are shooting the ball. They don't come off the bench and just go through the motions. These guys shoot the ball. They attack the basket. These guys play like a unit without their two superstars, but they still got the doors blown off them. They're still going against the Jazz, the number one team in the league, the hottest team in the league. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, let me just pull it up real quick. I was gonna say regardless if Kawhi or George sat today, I'd be comfortable going to this Jazz team -2 on the road. But let me just double check before I make any commitments. Okay, so Paul George questionable. Let me see. He's been upgraded to questionable, which is good. He might not play today, but he might play, a game or two from now. Kawhi has missed the past 3 games. They're being cautious with him, but he's possible to play tonight. Okay, so it just looks like, they're either going to come back tonight or come back within the next game or two, which is fine for me either way. I really don't care. Like I said, I'm taking this Utah team every game. I'm taking them to win, taking them by the spread, and taking them in the over, and it hasn't failed me yet. These guys are dogs. They're out here playing like they want to win a championship, and I'm going to take them every time until they show me different. So in this game here, I got Utah Jazz on the road, -2.5, in the over 224. And that's going to be my pick for that game. The last game of the day here is kind of a stinker. We got but I take just looking at this out the gate, I know I'm going to take Denver. There's no way I wouldn't take Denver. But we got Denver Nuggets versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Denver's -8.5 in some places, -8 in most places. If you could get it -8, that's great. The over-under is 226, 225 in some places. I don't really even got to dive too deep into this game. We know what we're looking at on both sides. We're looking at a Denver team that's kind of hurt, but they still got Jamal Murray. They still got Jokic. They still got MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. They still got Capazzo. They still got a couple of these guys that are balling. And then on the Cleveland side, all you really have is Colin Sexton, Darius Garland. Then it drops off. If Andre Drummond doesn't play, then it just, instantly drops off. It's just done. Then you got guys like Chetty Osman and these other good. They can't keep up with Denver. I'm going to take Denver here every time. I'll take them -8 over the 226, but I'd feel safer just taking Denver money line just to win the game. You could take them to win by 8 if you're feeling risky and you want to win a little more money. But I'll take a money line. I'll take Denver money line to win. All right, let's get a quick recap of all my picks. And then after the recap of these picks, then I'll give you guys like my guaranteed 2 or 3 picks for the day that you could take. You could put all your money on. If you want, you could run it, win that bet, come back in the comments and let me know that you won. And thank you, Susan. All right, so for the first game, my pick would be Orlando +4 against Golden State Warriors, and the over 224. The second game would be taking Philadelphia money line just to win the game against Chicago. That 9 points is just too much to lay, but I'd take it over the 230. Atlanta versus Boston, I'd have to take Atlanta plus the 4.5 points on the road, over the 226. And then I'd have to take, in the Detroit versus Memphis, I told you guys I don't really like this game. It's a coin flip, but I'd take Memphis minus the 5 over the 222. Oklahoma City versus Milwaukee. I take Oklahoma City plus the 10.5 points. I just can't lay any points with this Milwaukee team right now. It's just not happening. And that I take that in the over 232. Phoenix Suns versus New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans at home. I'd still take Phoenix Suns minus the 2 in the over 229 or over 230, whatever you find the number at, depending on what site you're gambling on. In the Toronto versus Minnesota game, I got Toronto Raptors minus 3.5 in the over 232. And then the second to last game of the night, we got the Utah Jazz versus the Clippers. I got the Utah Jazz minus 2.5 in the over 224. And last but not least, I got the Denver Nuggets over the Cleveland Cavaliers. I take that just to win the game. That minus 8 is kind of tricky. But like I said, if you want to take it minus 8, take it minus 8. And then, all right, guys. I'm going to give you guys my top 3 picks of the day. Just my 3 favorite bets. You don't have to, like I said, or say in all my videos, if there's 9 games, 10 games, 5 games, 3 games, 2 games, the good thing is you don't have to bet on any other games. You can take your favorite bets from each day and go with that instead of trying to bet these 50-50s or whatever the case is. So just looking here, I'd have to say my 3 favorite bets of the day would be I'd have to say Philadelphia just to win over Chicago. That's easy money in the bag. My second pick would have to be Phoenix Suns minus the 2 points over New Orleans Pelicans. And then last but not least, Utah Jazz minus 2.5 against the Clippers. And then I'll just throw in an extra one for you guys, just a little, you know what I'm saying? Take Denver. Take Denver to beat Cleveland. Easy. Cakewalk. Lock it in. Lock it in. Set it. Watch it. Wait for it. Hit. Come back to the comment section. Let me know if you guys hit. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you guys for showing love. My name is Suze with FullCourtPress. We have merchandise on our Instagram, FullCourtPress Clothing. I also do a little bit of gaming. I be streaming Call of Duty Warzone. If you guys want to see me stream, I stream almost every single night. Go over to twitch.com. Go to the search bar, type in FullCourtPress FCP, all one word, FullCourtPress FCP. Go give us a follow over there. Turn your guys' notifications on so that every time I drop a video, you guys get it right away, are able to watch it before these games start, just in case you guys want to put in your own bets for the day. I think that's all I got for you guys. You know, have a good day. Hope you guys win some bets. And I'm out. I'll tap in, man.